We're gonna talk about suicide, I guess, because that's the best way to get monetization, prestige, and all that good stuff on YouTube. YouTube loves it when you discuss suicide, I think. It is the best thing ever for your algorithm and success. Thank in Polish. I feel like the best thing that you can do to garner success as a content creator is to just talk about suicide and use the word suicide all the time while doing it, which is exactly what I'm planning to do. Once I return, I heard suicide. Yes, that's right. Trump administration removing 988 hotline service tailored to LGBTQ plus youth in July. I'm gonna be right back. How exciting! Oh my gosh! Trump is gutting services that help people with suicidal thoughts. Whoa! 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 What an incredible twist! You know how when you're really, really sad, when you're feeling really, really down, usually there's this phone number that you can just call and they will walk you through how you're feeling and probably direct you to some specialist or even a hospital at times. When you're feeling, quite frankly, suicidal. Usually people will recommend you to call some sort of a helpline to seek help and to, not do it, to be blunt. And being LGBT comes with its own specific set of problems. And there's been this hotline service that was tailored specifically for the needs of the LGBTQ plus. I assume, everything that the LGBTQ plus entails, right? And it's now been removed. By the way, interestingly enough, I'm going to share you my personal lived experience as a trans person. I get clocked a lot. I get sort of misgendered a lot in the daily grind of life. But interestingly enough, all the times when I called a line, when I was feeling down, when I called this sort of hotline seeking some sort of solace, I've been identified as a woman from the voice each and every single time. I've been gendered correctly from start to finish of the conversation. There's a little interesting factoid to sort of... The 988 National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline will stop providing tailored support options to LGBTQ plus youth and young adults only on July 17th, according to a statement on a federal agency's website. So basically, whoever benefited from this service up till now, it is not going to be an option anymore. The decision preempts the Trump administration's 2026 budget proposal to cut funding for 988's LGBTQ plus youth and young adult services, and it's raising alarm bells among LGBTQ plus advocates. I mean, what is the best way to save money? Oh yeah, let's just cut funding to all of those things that save people's lives. That is the best way to make America great again, by making American lives miserable. Again, when I did an interview with a Ukrainian lady today, she said, when I asked her what she thinks of the Trump administration and what Trump has been doing thus far, he said that Trump's only making America worse, and he claims to be making America great again. Yeah, let's do who cares if those people die? Who cares if the LGBTQ dies? Make America great again, am I right? Getting rid of the degeneracy. Federal data shows the LGBTQ plus youth program has served nearly 1.3 million callers. So I guess they're just gonna have to do something else then. They're just gonna have to cope in some other way. Since it started in September 2022, the services were accessible under the press-free option on the phone or by replying Pride via text. Because there are objectively certain things, certain struggles, there are certain struggles that are pretty specific to the LGBT community, right? There's just no avoiding saying that. and having a service that is that you will know, like, okay, let me put it this way, okay? It's not about a phone service, it's about a service in real life regarding psychologists and psychiatrists. The few times that I went to various types of therapy, my big concern was, okay, is this psychologist going to be trans friendly? How are they going to react to me? Should I even mention being trans? Should I pretend to be basically someone else when speaking to this person? And that is a concern. That is a thing that's always in the back of my mind whenever I go to a specialist of any kind. So naturally, obviously, if a service is tailored towards the LGBTQ plus, then of course I would not have to worry about it. I would know, oh yeah, this is tailored towards the LGBTQ plus. Of course they're gonna be weird about me. And then, like, I'm not sure how far this applies to a hotline like this, but what if you call a hotline, suicide hotline, you say, hey, I'm feeling bad about my life. I'm feeling like there's no point in continuing to live because I'm gay and people don't accept me in my environment. And the person that just happens to pick up is quite homophobic. But then, I'm not sure how often that actually would happen, but what if it does? You know, it's all of a sudden, it's like the advice, whatever advice is given, is going to be a bit, you know? I'm not sure how often this exact scenario would play out, but it's a risk, isn't it? My last experience with 988 was pretty good. They checked back with me each day for like a week. Well, that's over. At least the LGBTQ plus tailored part of it is over, or will be over soon. This story includes discussion of suicide. The decision was made to no longer silo the services and to focus on serving all help seekers, including those previously served through the press-free option. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration said in a statement dated Tuesday on its website. I don't know, it feels to me like there are things that are pretty specific to certain groups of people, and I think it's good to have teams specializing in being able to address these concrete issues, if that makes sense. The Trevor Project said it received official notice Tuesday that the program was ending. The nonprofit is one of 7 centers that provide 988 crisis support services for LGBTQ plus people and serves nearly half of the people who contact the lifeline. Hold on. LGBTQ plus people were half of the people contacting the lifeline. I mean, maybe I could sort of believe it. Suicide prevention is about people, not politics. I mean, true. Technically speaking, it's like, technically speaking, no matter what your politics are, people, like, you should be able to safely call a suicide prevention hotline. Trevor Project CEO James Black said in a statement Wednesday, the administrator's decision to remove a bipartisan evidence-based service that has effectively supported a high-risk group of young people through the darkest moments is incomprehensible. I mean, it is incomprehensible, but all things considered, sadly, I will say it is quite comprehensible, okay? I am able to quite easily comprehend why the MAGA crowd, why the Trump administration would want to do something like this. I can comprehend it, definitely. In a statement on the 988 decision, SAMHSA referred to the LGB plus youth services because, of course, the Republicans, of course, the MAGA crowd hates the LGBTQ plus. But out of all the LGBT, they hate trans people the most. Trans people are the most acceptable group right now to go against, to discriminate against. And that is a global phenomenon, unfortunately. People just hate trans people, and it is treated as the most acceptable group to attack. That is the sad reality of what we are experiencing. Look, whatever topic you have in debates, discussions, campaigning, sooner or later trans topics will come up. No matter what the topic, sooner or later somebody will bring up trans people and how they do this or that bad, and how they invade this or that space, or how they pretend to be this or that. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that no matter what you talk about, sooner or later, the topic will inevitably pivot to trans issues. And this is why the whole LGBT youth services, because it's an attempt to remove trans T from the LGBT. It's just Black called the omission of the T representing transgender people callous. Transgender people can never and will never be erased, he said. And of course, that is something that the Trump administration is actively attempting to do, to take away trans people's healthcare, kids and adults alike, and to basically erase trans people from legislation. I've already seen some instances of governmental pages referring to the LGBT as the LGB. The Trevor Project will continue to run its 24/7 mental health support services, as will other organizations and leaders of 988 say the Hotline. Will serve anyone who calls with compassion. Oh yeah, also there were 49,300 suicides in 2023, about the highest level in nation's history, based on the preliminary data. So I guess now is the best time to just gut services dedicated to the prevention of suicide, now that suicide rates are reaching a record high. It makes sense to me. Studies have shown that LGBTQ plus youth are at higher risk of suicide, including a 2024 analysis by the CDC that found 26% transgender and gender questioning students attempted suicide in the past year. That's compared with 5% of cisgender male and 11% of cisgender female students. Yeah, it's what happens when you live in a hostile society that just barely or straight up does not accept your existence as yourself. That is what happens. That I assure you that drive transgender themes central to his campaign. Oh yeah, especially with the whole the mental health criminals, the mental health hospital criminals are coming to the country illegally, and they're coming here to have a sex change. I remember that. It was so insane that I will never forget it. And has since rolled back many civil rights protections and access to gender-affirming care. Trump signed the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act of 2020 into law in October 2020. The specific 988 sub-program for LGBTQ plus youth cost $33 million in the fiscal year of 2024. According to SAMHSA, and as of June 2025, more than $33 million has been spent on the services. The Trump administration's 2026 budget proposal called for keeping 988's total budget at $520 million, even while eliminating the LGBTQ plus services. Health Secretary Robert, oh God, let's not forget that the anti-vaccination, anti-science is now at the head of healthcare of the United States. I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting that the brainworm guy is in fact at the head of the healthcare of the United States of America. And I'm not sure if there's anything that depresses me more than that fact. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to wrap SAMHSA and other agencies into a new HHS office called Administration for a Healthy America. Oh my God, they admit Make America Healthy Again. I wonder what this is going to bring. I wonder what horrible health-related issues are we going to be talking about in the future. I am very deeply worried about what the future will bring when it comes to this. So there you go. If you are LGBTQ+, if you're feeling unwell, if you're feeling that life is a little bit heavy, well, then you might be out of luck when it comes to the guarantee that the person on the other side of the hotline will be understanding. This might be moving forward, that might be a lottery. It just might be random. Well, let's hope for the best.